One minute, Vicky was posting a glowing tribute to me on Instagram. The next, she was quietly driving my custom-ordered, limited edition hypercar right off the dealership lot. An hour later, her male assistant posted a photo from the driver's seat to a story. Caption: blessed to have a female boss who takes such good care of her team. The wind just hits different today. She knew I lived and breathed cars. It was an obsession. Yet she had the nerve to take mine behind my back and hand the keys to him. That night, I had my team transport every single vintage and top-tier sports car from my private garage, lining them up perfectly in the driveway. I told her she could pick whichever one she wanted to give away next. And then, I made a call to my father in New York. I told him I'd accept the arranged date with the heiress of the city's biggest real estate dynasty. I had the looks, the money, and the pedigree. There was absolutely no reason to waste another second of my life on someone who no longer loved me. 1. Dusk was settling over Seattle as I stood on the balcony of our waterfront estate. A deep, arrogant roar of an engine shattered the quiet of the neighborhood. A matte black and gold hypercar pulled up to our driveway. Spencer walked around the aerodynamic hood, his steps light, and opened the passenger door with exaggerated gentleness. A silver stiletto stepped out onto the pavement. Vicky emerged, looking immaculate in a tailored white power suit, her fingers gripping a white Birkin. But it wasn't her outfit that caught my attention. It was her eyes. They were locked onto Spencer, the man who had just opened her door, and there was a predatory, lingering warmth in her gaze that I hadn't seen directed at me in years. They exchanged a few words, and a radiant, unguarded smile broke across her face. My phone buzzed. A notification from Twitter. Spencer had just tweeted a photo. It was a shot taken from the passenger seat, the girlfriend POV. Long, artistic fingers resting casually on the steering wheel, his jawline angled perfectly, a smirk playing on his lips. Driving the boss home in the car she gifted me. Life is sweet. In that single, crystalline moment, the floor dropped out from under me. When the dealership had texted me earlier that afternoon, I genuinely thought Vicky was trying to surprise me. I had spent 3 hours in my walk-in closet, meticulously picking out an outfit for our celebratory dinner. I had waited, starving and excited, until I opened my phone and saw Spencer's post. At first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe Spencer was just posing for clout. Maybe Vicky didn't know, but seeing that tweet confirmed it. She had actually taken the car I had been anticipating for over 6 months, bypassed me entirely, and gifted it to another man. I walked down the stairs and stepped out the front door, stopping right in front of her. Spencer immediately took 2 long strides forward, physically placing himself between Vicky and me. "Good evening, Mr. Sterling," he said, his tone dripping with fake politeness. "Vicky and I just grabbed a bite to eat after closing a deal. We're a little late. Please don't be mad at her." I looked at him, the coldness behind my eyes sharpening into something lethal. It was almost laughable. Who the hell did he think he was, telling me how to treat my own girlfriend? "I haven't said a word yet, but you're awfully quick to play the white knight," I said, my voice dangerously even. Spencer's eyes flickered, the color draining slightly from his perfectly manicured face. I let a slow, mocking smile touch my lips. "How's the handling on the car?" "Smooth." We were all adults here. We all knew how the game was played. A $3 million hypercar wasn't something a marketing director with no trust fund like Vicky could just buy on a whim. If Spencer had the audacity to accept it, he absolutely knew who paid for it. Spencer let out a stiff, barely audible "yeah." Vicky stepped around him, putting herself in front of him, and lightly tugged at my sleeve. "Come on, Clark," she murmured, her tone placating. "Spencer drives me to and from work every single day. I just remembered you had that car coming in, so I picked it up for him as a bonus. You have a whole fleet of sports cars. You can't possibly care about one little car, right?" I slipped my hands into my pocket. The corners of my mouth curled up, but my eyes remained dead. "No, I do care. I waited over half a year for that car. No one touches it. Not even you, Vicky." She recoiled, clearly not expecting me to strip away the polite veneer so abruptly. Her face darkened. The driveway went dead silent. Spencer pressed his lips together, saying nothing. As a man, he knew exactly why the air had turned toxic. There isn't a man alive who can stomach watching the woman he loves take his money to buy lavish gifts for another guy, even if she justified it as an investment in her assistant. "Mr. Sterling, this is on me. I shouldn't have accepted the bonus from Vicky," Spencer said, playing the martyr flawlessly. "I'll go to the DMV tomorrow, cancel the registration, and return it to the dealership." Listen to him, crafting the narrative to make me look like a petty tyrant. "Spencer, was it? It's just a car. I can afford to lose it," I said, my voice dropping an octave, carrying the effortless weight of generational wealth. "I've got a dozen supercars in the garage right now. Go ahead, pick one. Consider it a gift from me." He looked up, genuine shock breaking through his composed mask. I stared him down, letting the silence crush him. "Vicky and I have been together for 9 years. She's used to this kind of money, so she doesn't think handing over a hypercar is a big deal," I continued, my words slow and deliberate. "But as an assistant, you need to learn your place. You need to know what you are allowed to accept and what you are not." Spencer took a step back, totally outmaneuvered. He stammered out an apology. "You're right, Mr. Sterling. It's my fault. Please don't blame Vic." "Vic? Since when were they on a first-name-nickname basis?" Vicky stepped into her stilettos, shielding Spencer entirely with her body, and wrapped her arms around my waist. She dug into her Birkin and pulled out a bottle of cologne, flashing me a sickeningly sweet, coaxing smile. "Okay, Your Highness," she teased. "I bought you that limited edition cologne you used to look at. Don't be mad anymore, okay?" I stared down at the glass bottle in her hand, and the weight of the last 9 years pressed heavy on my chest. Vicky and I had been together since our freshman year of college. Back then, she was the untouchable ice queen of the campus. Guys lined up to humiliate themselves for her attention, but she rejected them all, choosing to stand by my side. I remember nights tangled in the sheet, her whispering fiercely against my collarbone that I was the only man she would ever love, that I was her lifeline. But looking at her now, the fracture was undeniable. In her eyes, I had just seen genuine genuine admiration and a fierce, protective instinct directed at another man. I had seen her laugh for him in a way she hadn't for me in months. And the cologne in her hand? It was a brand I had stopped wearing 4 years ago. Her voice, a mix of scolding and sweet-talking, pulled me out of my memories. I know you're only acting like this because you love me and you're jealous, she said smoothly. But to anyone else, it just looks like you're bullying a junior employee. Bullying. He wasn't even worth the effort of bullying. I narrowed my eyes and turned toward the front door. The way Spencer looks at you isn't the way an employee looks at a boss, I said coldly, pausing on the steps. You're a marketing director. Your entire career is built on reading people. You're telling me you don't see it. You gifted a multi-million-dollar car to a man who is clearly obsessed with you. Vicky, she frowned, her tone taking on a defensive, dramatic edge. Oh, stop it. There is absolutely nothing going on between me and Spencer. Not now, not ever. I studied her face. I let the silence stretch out before I nodded, accepting her hollow reassurance for the night. I had loved this woman for nearly a decade. We had built a life together. Throwing a massive tantrum over a mildly attractive assistant felt beneath me. I had made my point, and I was getting my car back. There was no point in burning the house down tonight, especially since I didn't have hard proof of their emotional affair. Yet, too. Vicky grabbed my hand and pulled me upstairs toward our master bathroom, her eyes slightly red, playing the part of the devoted, distressed girlfriend perfectly. The housekeeper is off today. Why don't you take a shower and I'll go downstairs and sear you a steak, she offered softly. I nodded, watching her walk away. I turned to my dresser to grab some fresh clothes and pulled open my underwear drawer. I froze. Oh, by the way, Vicky called out from the hallway. The housekeeper said your boxers were getting a little worn out, so she threw the old ones away. Just grab a fresh pair from the bottom row. I bent down and slid the bottom drawer open. I am incredibly particular about my things. My housekeeper knows I have a strict organizational system. Everything must be perfectly aligned. She checks it meticulously every day. But right in the middle of the drawer, a brand new box of my imported silk boxers was missing. A memory hit me like a physical blow. 2 days ago, Spencer had posted one of those curated, aesthetic lifestyle photo dumps on Instagram. In the third slide, sitting casually on his coffee table next to an espresso, was a brand new box of that exact, hyper-specific brand of luxury underwear. A suffocating, white-hot rage hijacked my nervous system. Vicky took my underwear from our home and gave it to her assistant? I didn't want to admit it, but in that moment, I was consumed by a visceral, humiliating jealousy. In 9 years, I had never felt this kind of blinding fury over another man. I wanted to storm down the stairs, corner her in the kitchen, and scream at her. Did she have any idea what it meant for a woman to buy a man underwear? I gripped the edge of the marble counter, fighting to regulate my breathing. Just as I managed to unclench my jaw, the bathroom door swung open. Vicky walked in, her heels clicking against the tile. Clark, Spencer just brought the car back to the dealership. But the title transfer requires me to be there in person, she said briskly, already checking her reflection in the mirror. You'll have to figure out dinner yourself. The embers of my anger instantly flared back into a roaring fire. It can't wait until tomorrow? I demanded. You have to leave the house now, in the middle of the night? Vicky paused, her brow furrowing as if I were the one being unreasonable. You're the one who loves this car so much. I'm rushing to get the paperwork done for you. The heat in my chest instantly vanished, replaced by an expansive, hollow ice. You took my car without my permission, I said, my voice eerily calm. I merely reclaimed what was already mine. It's late. It's dark. You can go tomorrow. She let out a long, heavy sigh, looking at me with undisguised disappointment. You publicly humiliated Spencer by forcing him to return my gift. Now you've got him waiting around at the dealership wasting his night. Clark, you can't just think about yourself all the time. When you act like this, it's like I don't even know you. I stared at her. The absurdity of her words echoed in the tiled room. I'm thinking about myself? I'm the stranger? Do you hear yourself right now, Vicky? I asked quietly. A flash of impatience crossed her face, but she forced her tone into a patronizing patience. Maybe I phrased that harshly, but you need to understand, Spencer is the only man at the company right now who can actually carry the weight of this workload with me. You stripped him of his dignity tonight. I can't just abandon him there. When I didn't respond, she sighed again, a deeply tired sound. Clark, you come from old money. Your family has everything. You don't get what it's like for normal people like me. If I want a future with you, I have to be ruthless. I have to build an empire. Sure, you can throw a childish tantrum tonight and demand I stay home. But if I alienate the one partner who is in the trenches fighting beside me, that's a cost I'm not willing to pay. A ringing sound filled my ears. The one partner in the trenches with her. So that was it. Deep down, Vicky had always felt our backgrounds made us incompatible. And now she saw Spencer as her true equal, her comrade in arms. I see. The last thread holding my heart together snapped. Go, I said, my voice completely devoid of emotion. Without a single second of hesitation, she turned on her heel and walked out. The heavy oak door clicked shut, leaving nothing behind but the fading scent of her gardenia perfume. There was a time when I admired Vicky's cold, calculating rationality above all else, and she used to say she loved my innate pride, the unyielding backbone I was born with. But everything had rotted. I looked up at the ceiling and let out a long, shuddering breath. When a woman's heart leaves the room, there is no point in blocking the door. I pulled my phone from my pocket and dialed a New York area code. Dad, I said when the line clicked, tell the heiress I'll take the meeting. 5 years ago, after graduation, my father demanded I return to Manhattan to take over the family's investment firm. I refused to leave Vicky behind, so I stayed stayed in Seattle. For 5 years, I stripped away the trust fund kid label and built something from the ground up. Whatever Vicky wanted to do, I backed her financially and emotionally. We stumbled, we bled, and eventually, we built the largest apparel conglomerate in the Pacific Northwest. We were pulling in over $1 billion in annual revenue, and my reward was her telling me we weren't in the trenches together. Leaving all this behind to go back to New York, it stung, but I was done. My screen lit up. A text from Vicky. The title is transferred. Car is at the dealership. Spencer and I are heading back to the office to pull an all-nighter. Won't be home. I lay down on our king-sized bed in the dark, my eyes wide open until the sun came up. 3. The next morning, I walked into the executive suite with a hollow stomach. To my surprise, there was a takeout bag from a luxury bakery sitting on my desk. Spencer and I are meeting a few distributors. We'll grab lunch out. V. The handwriting on the sticky note was Vicky's, but inside the bag was a trendy matcha pudding. The one thing in the world I absolutely despised eating. It was painfully obvious she hadn't bought this for me. I handed the bag to my assistant and asked him to run down and get me a black coffee and a plain bagel. A rotting relationship is exactly like food you hate. There's no point in forcing yourself to swallow it. By 1 p.m., I had cleared my inbox. There was no sign of Vicky. My assistant knocked and walked in, casually mentioning, "Hey boss, looks like Vic and her assistant are out at that new oyster bar on the pier. What do you want me to order you for lunch?" I paused, my pen hovering over a document. I frowned. "Where did you see that?" He waved his phone at me, looking slightly awkward. Instagram. Spencer posted a story thanking Vic for treating him to a seafood feast. I leaned back, pulled a cigarette from my desk drawer, lit it, and blew a stream of smoke toward the ceiling. Any lingering guilt I felt about drunkenly agreeing to the arranged date last night evaporated completely. At 3 p.m., Vicky pushed open my office door, her heels sinking into the plush carpet. Spencer trailed right behind her like a shadow. "Clark, I'm so sorry. The meetings ran long, so we couldn't make it back. We just grabbed a quick bite." "Did you eat?" she asked, dropping a stack of files on my desk. I barely glanced at her, offering a monotone "yeah." She pulled out the chair across from me and sat down, rubbing her temples. "Clark, I don't know how the rumor about the sports car leaked, but the whole office is gossiping about Spencer. Considering we just locked in 3 massive contracts today, do you think you could step up and make an executive statement to clear his name?" My hand, which was about to sign a ledger, froze. I slowly raised my eyes. "You gave him a car. He accepted it. And you want me, the bystander whose car was stolen, to clean up the mess. Vicky's beautiful." I